Hey everybody, welcome to the MMA Heat podcast. I'm Karyn Bryant.
What's up, guys? Alan Jouban here.
So, as you can tell, I'm not in the home office. Alan, you were just here with us as well. We celebrated Father's Day up here at Lake Arrowhead. We are still here. You apparently had to get back to work, back to training, so you had to leave a little earlier than we did.
Oh, training. Yeah, let me put my vodka down real quick. Hold on.
I'm still on vacation. This is a little white wine.
It's a good cocktail.
Yeah.
Yeah, training, Karyn.
Yeah, that's
training.
it.
Yeah, we enjoyed it though, man. We were up there with you guys for one night, obviously.
Yeah.
But it was just enough to kind of reboot, and I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed it, and just like a quick little getaway was enough to kind of get me energized again. And yeah, I got home, trained today, and go see the doctor tomorrow, so I can see where I'm at with my foot. So I'm looking forward to that.
Very nice. And folks, I should let you know that while if I had brought baby oil, probably would have slathered baby oil all over myself because I'm trying to get that nice tan. Alan Jouban went zombie. He being the model, he knows how to save the face, and he gets so much sunscreen on, dude. You know how to take care of yourself.
Hashtag save the face.
Although I do wear a hat. I wear a hat with a brim that goes like out to here. I recognize that too. But yeah, no, I'm really glad you guys came. That was a lot of fun having you up here. And people may have seen the pictures. We posted some pictures of all of us out kayaking. So that was a lot of fun.
No, but you know what's funny? You mentioned when we put the sunscreen on before we went kayaking, I didn't realize I looked like that. I could see my shoulders were kind of like glazed looking. I look like a glazed donut. But then when we came back and I went to use the restroom to wash my hands, and I looked in the mirror and I was like, I looked like this the whole time. My eyebrows were all like caked and moisturizer.
Right.
And it was my son's.
Yeah.
So it was like 45 SPF and like thick.
Super
waxy.
waxy.
It was crazy, man.
Yeah.
I didn't even know that the whole time.
Well, that's how you know we're all good friends. That we're just like, we're just going to let that slide right now. That we're not even.
Yeah, thanks a lot, guys. Thanks, Wade.
I was just thinking that's why he looks a hell of a lot younger than me.
That's why he's a model, exactly. Apparently that's
where I went wrong all these years. Yeah.
Cool. Well, listen, obviously, as we're kind of still on a break, we'll do sort of an abbreviated version of the podcast this week. But since we last spoke, Alan, officially on the podcast here, the news broke that Conor and Floyd are going to fight each other. And we kind of knew this was coming, but I really want to know what your take is, right, exactly, now that we know it's actually going to happen.
Yeah, I mean, I was kind of a guy the whole time that was... Okay, I was skeptical as anyone, but I knew with that amount of money, hey, you can do a lot of things when that amount of money is being offered on the table. So many people are in line to make a lot of money, so they were putting this fight together. I'm excited for it, man. There's a lot of people saying, like, real fight fans won't watch this. But look, I love fighting. I'm a real fight fan, but I also enjoy entertainment in the moment. This is like one of those things in life, like you remember when... You talk about 10 years from now. Do you remember when the biggest money fight in history happened?
Yes.
You're damn right I was watching it. Yeah, absolutely I will be watching it. I'm excited for it.
Yeah, I can't see why you wouldn't watch it. And it's funny because this actually became official on Wednesday right before we did UFC Tonight. So we were all ready, set to go, had to rewrite the whole show and all this stuff. Our boss, the head of the network came down. He's on the set with us. He's all fired up. We're talking about what kind of shoulder programming we could do. Like everybody was just excited about it. And, regardless, logically, your brain says Floyd Mayweather's going to win, and logically, your brain says Conor doesn't have a chance because if Floyd is already 49-0 against some of the best boxers in the world who couldn't even win rounds, how is this guy who's not even a boxer going to get in there and win rounds? But I swear to God, he's either made a deal with the devil or is blessed by the gods. But that whole doubt me now thing with Conor, like I swear, like. I almost wouldn't even be surprised if he pulled it off. So I'm happy for him. I'm happy. Like I just think I don't think it's as ridiculous as a lot of people think it is. Yes, it is a little bit of a spectacle, but I swear to God, he's got as good a chance as anybody in a way. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Hey, I think Conor might need to go down to Mississippi, find a crossroads, and sell his soul to the devil in order to get the powers to beat Floyd Mayweather in the boxing ring.
Yeah.
With that said, I'm like you, man. I've always said this about fighting, that it's hard. I don't know if people understand what I'm saying, but in other sports, basketball, you have a ball. There's teams. In other sports, there's props like balls and there's gear and there's rules to it. There's certain techniques. There's a play-by-play, things like that. And there's a lot more rules in fighting. In fighting, there's no props. It's one-on-one. and anything can happen.
Yeah.
And there's always a puncher's chance, and that's the general way of saying it, but there's more to it that goes into it. But there really is always a puncher's chance because there's not enough rules saying that, I could just play the game like I would if I was going against Kobe Bryant or Michael Jordan in basketball. There's zero chance I could win. But if you're trying to tell me I couldn't knock out some guy in a ring, no, that's not true. Everybody has a puncher's chance when it comes to fighting. So he does have a puncher's chance, and he is a high-level fighter, obviously. But like you said, a lot of people have tried. A lot of hard hitters have tried and not landed, have not been successful.
Right.
And landing on Mayweather,
exactly.
I don't see why all of a sudden Conor McGregor, who is foreign to this sport, would all of a sudden come in and be successful. I would say that he would have the most amount of success. I give him a round and a half.
Uh-huh.
By the end of the second round, he's going to start Mayweather will start to find his timing and rhythm, and then Conor McGregor's kind of early steam will start to slow down. It'll become more of a technical boxing match, and that's when they'll start picking them apart.
Well, it's interesting, because, we're good friends with Justin Fortune, who is Manny Pacquiao's coach. He and Freddie Roach worked together and have trained Manny. And if Manny can't do it, logic would dictate. Listen, if Juan Manuel Marquez couldn't do it, if all these guys can't do it, it makes you think, why would Conor be able to do so? My question, one of the things I am curious of is, obviously Floyd is retired or whatever, but how active is he? But really the question is, sometimes in almost the same thing, like when we were talking around the pool with the guy talking about John Jones and DC, it's like Conor is so much more greatly motivated to win this fight than Floyd is. There is really the possibility that Floyd may not take him seriously at all. In which case Conor will have a better chance. Or Floyd is like, oh, no way in hell am I going 49-1, and he's going to train extra hard. I don't know. Like, to me, that's a sort of an intangible, is the motivation and how seriously Floyd takes Conor. I don't know.
I'm going to play Dana White. I'm going to play promoter for a second. If I was selling this fight to my MMA fans, I would have to bring up these things. This is the reason why Conor has a strong chance, because Conor is the more active fighter. He's the younger fighter. Yeah. He's the bigger fighter.
Yeah.
He's taller, has a longer reach. He's going to be the much more stronger fighter as well in there. And he's the one-punch knockout artist.
Right.
And, as you said it, this is Floyd in his 40s now, early 40s or 40, who hasn't been active. How serious is he taking it? How active has he been? Does he have a bit of ring rust after retiring? And the last thing to it is, Floyd has been a better boxer than every boxer he has ever fought.
Right.
The key for Conor to win is to don't think like a boxer, think like Conor McGregor, the guy that got you here, the guy with the awkward timing, the long punches, the killer instinct. Well, the killer instinct and the good counter punches. So if Conor tries to box Floyd, he's in for a rude awakening. If he goes in there and makes it an ugly fight and dirty boxes and does things with his off timing rhythm, he does have a chance of landing something in the early rounds. Yeah,
and speaking of timing too, that is something obviously they will work on in camp, but it's a difference going into 3-minute rounds. And so, if obviously Conor is not a slow starter. We've seen what he's done to people very quickly. But that is something different that you have to address, the pacing of the 3-minute rounds and going longer for the 3-minute rounds. But, regardless, I think it's cool. I feel like, there are some people criticizing it, saying it's bad for boxing. I don't think it's bad for boxing. If anything, look, if Floyd wins, like on paper, he probably should, it doesn't hurt boxing because you could say, see, look, our guy's still the greatest there is. If Floyd loses, I don't necessarily think it hurts the sport of boxing. I think it just is a good thing for Conor as an individual, and maybe it'll raise the profile of all of you guys that are MMA fighters going to say, hey, look, we're actually better at these other disciplines than you maybe give us credit for. But I don't think that if Conor wins, it kills the sport of boxing.
I don't know. I haven't even... I don't think myself nor anybody in Showtime Boxing or the Mayweather camp have even given the thought of, what if he loses? What is that? Because they're like, no,
it's not possible. Right.
How's he going to lose? But man, let's say Conor wins. What does that say for the sport of boxing? I mean, that is a very crazy question. A very crazy.
It says rematch for more money.
Can you? Oh yeah, all day, and
all
that
day.
would be. I mean, not only is Conor a debuting boxer, but then Conor becomes a champion in a three category. I mean,
well,
it's like he would be. I've
yes
never
and
said
no,
this about
honorary,
Conor.
because Floyd is not really still the reigning champion or whatever. But yeah,
Right.
I know what you're saying.
But he would have done something. He's already done something that nobody has ever amounted to. But he would be in the history books forever, because
Right.
that would be. I don't know what would happen.
Well, I know, and it's crazy because Dana was telling us on UFC tonight. He said, "Yeah, of course, Conor's going to be coming back to the octagon. Conor's going to fight again." Look, if Conor beats Floyd, there is no way he's coming back to the octagon. If anything, like I said, they'll get a rematch. He'll walk away like rich and famous, vacate that UFC belt. Like why? Like seriously, like why would you come back? Like
I can't see him from a business standpoint going from $100 million paydays
Right.
back to $10 million paydays. I agree. I don't think if he beats him that he's coming back. You know the funny thing about this whole thing, Karyn, is seeing Dana White in the interviews, you could tell that Dana White is now dealing with people that are bigger than him.
right,
Dana White has always been the guy that kind of like that lays down the law.
Right.
But you can tell, like, I watched you interview him on UFC Tonight.
yeah,
And every time you had a question for him, he's like, yeah, Mayweather has really good people. They know what they're talking about. They're super smart. Yeah, we don't have anything to do with that. They're
Right.
taking care of the paperwork. They're taking care of the contracts. Showtime's doing the
Right,
production.
right.
They're taking care of the commentators.
Yeah.
Basically, Dana White is just gathering. He's like a promoter in this fight. He's just
Right.
promoting Conor McGregor, but he's not really any. It doesn't seem like he has really a business play in this,
Yeah, not as much. And it's funny, for those who don't know, I actually worked for Showtime Championship Boxing for 3.5 years. So they're going to be the ones that are supposedly responsible for putting on the card and everything. And yeah, Showtime, they know what they're doing. Obviously, they're really good at it. Moro's going to be on the call. Al Bernstein, I think they said Paulie Malignaggi's on it as well.
More.
Yeah, Moro's going to be calling the fight. Because Moro works for Showtime, too. So it's going to be Moro and Al Bernstein and Paulie Malignaggi, I believe, calling the fight.
Like commentators on.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure.
I like it. I was worried that there might not be an MMA, smart,
Right.
savvy commentator. I was worried that who was going to commentate it.
Right. Yeah, no, Moro's the man. So he's all good. He covers both bases because he's worked for, obviously, covering MMA for years and boxing. So that part of it is great. And that's one of the things that our boss, Eric Shanks, was talking to us about on the set is, all the other stuff other kind of programming that we can do on our side, on the MMA side of things, even though Showtime's going to be handling all this stuff. So whatever. I'm just psyched. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be absolutely bananas, and I can't wait for these press conferences leading up to it. So yeah,
Good.
I just think it's cool.
I agree.
It's nuts
Press
and it's cool.
conferences should be entertaining.
Absolutely. So what do you make of the news that came out today that they stripped Germaine Durand-Demi of her 145-pound title? Cyborg and Megan Anderson are going to fight co-main event UFC 214. What do you make of that? Good news, bad news, good situation, bad situation?
I ain't mad at it. I mean, she didn't want to fight Cyborg. Maybe not a lot of women do, but we're in the fight game. You're the champion.
Right.
You got to fight who's the next runner-up is. Everybody already knows Cyborg is kind of the baddest woman on the planet. So you need to fight her. She's next in line. And she's going to be the most highest profile opponent that you would fight. So you could say that maybe she cheated in the past, but she's not cheating now because they're getting tested like crazy. She's going to be tested 13 times probably before this fight. Yeah. So you're going to be fighting a clean Cyborg. It's going to be the biggest payday of your life. You need to say, yes, I get it that she's making a stand. She's taking a stand, and I respect her for that. She tweeted something about standing alone is hard. Standing with the crowd is easy. And I respect that 100%. But I think she's making a bad business decision financially and career-wise because this is a lot of the fans are turning on her, and the UFC is going to turn on her as well. And if the UFC turns on her, she's not going to have the same type of – she can't go to Bellator and make the same kind of money that she could have fighting pay-per-view against Cyborg.
Yeah, and it's interesting to me because, Germaine has been a fighter for a long time, and I don't necessarily think she's – scared in the way that some people are saying that she's scared, and I think she's cool with like whatever. If I lose my fight, I lose it. I lose my title, whatever. But yeah, you brought up the point about Cyborg being clean, and supposedly that was her issue. Was wanted to make sure that she was fighting somebody that was on a level playing field with her. But it is tough. It is tough for Germaine now if she's going back down to 135. Yeah, like what kind of opportunities will she get? I feel like while you don't want to believe that your bosses are petty or anything like that, like I feel like the goodwill toward her might be hard. It might be hard for her to get good fights. It might be hard for her to get on the cards that she wants to get. So it's interesting, though, because I still think Germaine is a tough fight for a lot of the people in the 35 division. But where does it put her? Where does it give her in terms of opportunities to fight her way up to that belt? It's difficult, and I just on the whole, I think it's a bummer of a situation. That being said, apparently it's obviously party time here at the hotel. Now we got everybody showing up for whatever. That being said, Megan Anderson is a woman who has been very vocal in asking for these fights, and I really applaud her gumption and her willingness to do this. But we've seen what happens when other people called out Cris Cyborg, and they got shut down right quick. That woman is no joke. So I give Megan all kinds of credit, but I'm pretty sure Cris Cyborg is going to be our champion.
Yeah, I'm not real familiar with Megan. I don't remember seeing her fight, but she looks, from the pictures I've seen, size-wise, like she's got it. She's going to be bigger, taller at least, and so she could use that range, maybe get out of trouble. But I'm not familiar with her enough.
Dude, you got to Tonya Harding Cyborg if you're going to beat her. I hate to say it. It's baseball bat to the knee or nothing, man. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. We need Greg Galuli up in this joint. Because otherwise, I don't think you beat Cyborg. It just isn't happening. Because look, and I've worked with that woman when I did CBS fights, with Morrow and stuff, and Chris was fighting with us. She's been a wrecking machine since then. That was 2007. She's been a wrecking machine, and you know that she's just been getting better and better and better and better and better. One of the Invicta fights I remember is that I forget who she was fighting, but Chris knocked her down within like a couple seconds. And this poor woman, I swear to God, she looked up and you could just tell that she's like, why did I ask for this? Like, why did I even talk crap? And I swear to God, I'm not trying to be disrespectful to the fighters that have gone in there with Chris, but it's like, I think she's just a whole other kind of animal. She's just a whole other level. I just don't think people are really as ready for it as they think they are.
She's physically so much more imposing than all the other women she's fighting, and she's got this aggression. Yeah. Ronda Rousey, when she used to square off with people, you could see like her muscles and her delts and chest. Right. And I remember thinking like Ronda Rousey is physically imposing. Yeah. But then you would see her like practice her judo throws in an elastic band. And you would see the girly side to her. Right. Like, you'd see her, like, do things, or, like, when she would skip rope, she's like, yeah. And I'm like, oh, okay, Ronda's, like, she's still a little girly. Yeah. Cyborg doesn't do shit girly. Machine. Like, everything she does is, like,
it's just for destroying you. Exactly.
I'm the toughest woman on planet. This is how I jump rope like a badass. Everything she does is just
totally.
Tough. So, I agree with you, pretty much.
Totally, yeah, and we have footage of her, and I'll have to put it out, of her slamming Tito Ortiz. Now, mind you, Cris Cyborg, okay, let's say that day at the gym, she does walk around at like 170 or whatever. But Tito fights at 205, so that means that day when Tito was training, he was probably like 230 or something like that. And she had no problem picking Tito up and slamming him. Like, oh my God, you're such a badass. And at the end of the day, too, you got to remember, honestly, we all know this division was made for Cris Cyborg. It's why the division is there. There's no way she's going to walk into that octagon and not be like, listen, biatches, this is mine. Like, it's like rip it out of her cold dead hands. I just don't think there's any way she leaves there without winning.
I feel like she has been destined to be the champion for quite a while. If she loses, then props to the other girl. But if Cyborg wins, I feel like this has been something that was coming for a long time, and she deserves it. With that said, just a quick note. Sorry, guys, I didn't charge my phone. I've got about 5 minutes life left on my battery, so I'm going to start wrapping it up.
All right, you should go plug it in or whatever. But, okay, the other thing I wanted to ask you about, Holly Holm, a nice head kick. She took out H.E.A.T, which was interesting because Betch was like, come on, let's go. After the referee had to say, like, listen, ladies, I respect your game plans, but I need some activity. That was in the second round. Third round, Betch, like, waves her on, let's go. Boom. That's one of those be careful what you ask for messages.
That's it, man. And Betch, like, she was kind of getting her little, like, salsa swagger dance. You can see it. She the way she did it, she brought it on, and she got head kicked. Yeah, man, Betch, she's had, some winning streaks, but I feel like she got the title shot because there weren't a lot of girls to do the title shot. That kind of made her famous. But, like, she's not a girl that has knockout power to me. She has very short arms. Yeah. She's not really a grappler. She's really a striker, but she needs a stationary opponent. That way she can land her shots on the inside. So I feel like she's going to have a tougher time in this division as the division's continuing to evolve, and she's kind of getting put out there a little bit more.
Yeah, that said, too, I'm happy for Holly. I do still wish, though, she wasn't always just a counter puncher. You know what I mean? Sometimes I wish she would initiate a little bit more. My other takeaways from Singapore was I like RDA at 170. I thought he looked strong. I liked it. You know, that match was close. It was a lot of clinch work, a lot of grappling. But I like him at 170 pounds. Other than that, you know, tough go for Arlovsky. You know, as diminishing returns, unfortunately for him, I don't know. But I also know in your division there, Colby Covington trying to put everybody on blast.
I don't even know what to say about Colby Covington right now, Karyn. It was cringe. It made me cringe. His post-fight interview inside the cage. I don't know, man. He's trying to go that route, but he's not a natural trash talker. Yeah. And it was kind of awkward. And then, like, his post-fight thing, he did something on Twitter, like, calling out everybody and saying he's going to take Tyron Woodley and embarrass him and all kinds of stuff. And he's a tough matchup. I'm going to give the man his respect. Yeah. He's a tough matchup for anybody. He's a very strong guy. He's obviously a really dominant wrestler, and he's got good cardio. People don't realize that he keeps that pace the whole time. But he's not, like, knocking guys out, and he's not submitting guys. He's just kind of ground and pounding them. You have to do something very, very impressive before you talk that kind of trash. He won dominantly in terms of the judges, but it wasn't, like, an impressive performance where people were like, damn. So, like, he should have saved that trash talk for a more impressive performance. Yeah, stylistically, and I agree with you that obviously he's got positive results and he's winning, and we know how hard that is to do in your division. It's so hard. But yeah, he needs to maybe add a little bit more flash to his fight style before working the mic like that. But again, you know, getting another win like that, getting a win over a known name like that is a big deal. Big win.
So lastly, obviously we do want to pay our respects to Tim Hague, who passed away after a boxing match in Canada. It's just a terrible, just a very sad situation. You know, you never want to hear that. And also, of course, Matt Hughes, at the time of us recording this, the last thing that I heard was that he was not responsive necessarily, but stabilized a little more so, didn't have broken bones, but still hasn't really been as responsive as the family is hoping. Yeah, man, what a crazy weekend. Like, we got the news when we got to Lake Arrowhead. But the Matt Hughes thing, I was devastated. Matt is a guy I've been knowing for a while, on and off. He's always been super, super, super nice to me. My pro debut, not my pro debut, my UFC debut, he was there. We talked. After my fight, I'd won. He went and gave me one of the pamphlets that people buy in the seats and put it in my bag and texted me, like, great job, and keep this, and I have it in my room. I thought we might be losing Matt Hughes, and I was taking that thing and looking at it the other night, like, sentimentally, wondering what might happen. So I'm glad to hear that he's looking at least like he's on the up and up. Tim Hague, the former UFC fighter that died, I watched the fight. It was, I don't know if disturbing is the right word, but I thought the fight, he didn't belong in there that long. He seemed like he took the fight on short notice. He got knocked down 5 times before he was eventually knocked out, which put him, was his last, shot that he ended up dying from. The ref should have stopped it sooner when they saw that he wasn't really wanting to fight. It's just a sad story, and it makes me think every day that this is the sport that I'm in, and this could happen to anybody on any given day, and to just count your blessings. So, prayers to him and his family. Absolutely, absolutely. Well, yeah, and obviously as this news comes out, we'll keep everybody posted. This weekend coming up, I am working on the Kansas City card. We have Kevin Lee and Mike Chiesa fighting. We're actually going to have El Kukui at the desk with me and Tyron and Kenny, so I'm definitely looking forward to that. Have UFC tonight this week and Tough Talk. Alan, you're back in the gym, even though your foot's still in a boot, but like you said, you're going to the doctor and everything. You're going to be working out. But I know, are you going to be wearing your romper while you work out? I don't know if people saw the video, the Champions video of you rocking the romper. Breaking news, guys. Don't do drugs and don't wear rompers. That's all I got to say. Check it out. It's on, what is it on? Champions, I think. Yeah, it's Alan Jouban. I love your meltdown on the phone. You did a great job. Awesome. So Chili's gift card. Come on, guys. We'll put some teaser footage in. Okay, so before your phone dies, where can people find you on social media? Yeah, check me out, guys. All social media at Alan Jouban. All right, I'm on Twitter at Karyn Bryant. We have that on YouTube. Obviously, you're watching that there. Facebook, we have MMA Heat, Karyn Bryant. Evie and I are going to do a new Trocasao video this week as well, because she's going to Bellator. She'll catch up with Vanderlei and everything, which is going to be also bananas. Can't believe we didn't mention that, but I'm obviously going to be watching. That's this weekend. Yeah, Chael and Vanderlei throwing down. Going to be awesome. Mitrione versus Fedor. It's going to be a lot of fun. We got Phil Davis taking on Ryan Bader. There's a lot of good fights this weekend, so it's going to be awesome. But Alan, thank you for joining us. We're going to give you a parting shot. A beautiful Lake Arrowhead as we say goodbye.
I want to go back.
It's only a 2-hour drive, not even. All right, Alan.
I can't look any longer. Bye, guys.
All right, thanks.